What's going on, guys? This is your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. So Todd MONKEN is addressing the wide receiver room going into the start of the 2026 season. We know that they acquired a bunch of guys during the draft and pretty much signing free agents. Anybody that's available that could definitely catch the ball, the Browns took a look at them. Now, with all of that being said, I ain't going to waste no time. Let's pull up Todd MONKEN, listen to what he had to say. Let's roll the footage right now, dog.
You know, a bunch of guys, tryout guys that are trying to make our team want to be a Cleveland Brown, which is really cool. I think efficiency-wise, the guys handled the installs over the last couple days at a really high level. They've got a coach-me-coach mentality, which you'd love to see. Guys that want to be coached, want to be pushed, and so it's been a lot of fun.
Todd, you had that, toward the end, you had that helmetless period, but you kind of gathered them together before. What was sort of the message you were trying to impart there?
Well, it's an ACT period, which means alignment, communication, and technique. More of a mental sweat. And I get it. When you're in a competitive environment, it's hard to get players to what? Tone it down, right? And we'd had 3 of those periods previous, including yesterday, and none of them were really at the tempo that I desired. So it was really poor on my part to allow it to keep going, but really at the end, it's more of a jog through, again, a mental sweat. Alignment, communication, technique, more than, you know, really trying to tax our guys. Because at the end of this, the goal at the end of the mini camp is to make it out healthy. And I wanted to make sure of that.
Hey, Todd, I know we talked about your desire to have a fullback. You went and signed the veteran. Do you see either of the 2 tight ends that you drafted, Carson or Joe, as potential fullbacks?
I think they're going to have to work there. And we're going to have to work some of the other guys we have on our roster, but don't know that yet. Really hard in shorts. Obviously, Mike, who'd been in the NFL for a number of years, has a great feel for how to fit certain runs, you know, how it's going to play out. He's certainly got that, which we saw when we wanted to sign him. But when you rep a number of groups, you're going to have at least 2 other guys that have some feel for playing the position.
And why do you think that position is so, I guess, important to what you're trying to do?
Well, I think it's funny how the game evolves. It goes from under center, pro style, downhill run, and then high school football changes, college changes more spread. You don't see the old Mike linebackers, fullbacks, right? There's no Dick Butkus, Ray Nitschke's out there anymore playing Mike linebacker. You don't have fullbacks, you can't find them. Air raid wise, but you start to see this year the number of tight ends that went higher in the draft. Starting to see more and more teams to calm down defenses to get what? You get bigger bodies, tight ends, fullbacks to create gaps. Helps your play action game as well. So I just think that the game is always evolving, and I think it's kind of turning back.
What have you seen from E-Man in these first 2 days of the camp?
Well, what you guys see, which is a long, fast, anticipating being physical, got unbelievable range. Again, he's another one of those guys that has a smile on his face every day, loves football. It's what we saw when we met with him at the Combine when he came here. Like, I think the sky's the limit. I mean, he wants to be an elite football player, and he goes about it the right way every day.
Todd, when you were in Baltimore, obviously it wasn't your side of the ball, but you guys had a safety in Kyle Hamilton that could do a bunch of different things. How valuable is it to have that sort of player at that position?
Well, I wouldn't say Kyle started that, because there's been a number of guys his size that enables you to be able to play dime and kind of have the size of a linebacker, but have the ability to cover. Kyle could gain 10 or 20 pounds and play will linebacker if he wanted to. A lot like the young man that's from South Carolina that's at the Seahawks. Very similar, kind of a hybrid position that allows you to do a number of things with them. Like any player that can do a number of things. The young man that plays for the Niners, the fullback, he can do a number of things. He's not just a blocking fullback. They can spread him out. He can catch the football. Very versatile. I think the more versatility you have in your position groups, I think you can keep those guys on the field and move them around as chess pieces. I think it's something we're looking forward to try and figure out where we can utilize him.
Couple more.
Todd, it seems like Justin Jefferson has been. You can hear him out there being very vocal out there at linebacker. What do you know, the way he's sort of taken on, almost seems like a leadership role early on in this camp. I know it's way early to say that, but just it seems like he's kind of grabbing that position, you know, and trying to do as much as he can with it.
No, it's not hard to see the guys that love football, is it? It's pretty simple. You show up to practice. You guys are looking at the same thing I'm looking at, right? Quincy Williams, he's been here, what, a month, and you can tell he loves football. You can see that with JJ. You can see a guy that loves to play football, comes in the building ready to go. He's jocked up, ready to go. I love that about guys. And you can just see it. You can just feel them. You can feel the guys when you come out to the practice field. They're ready to go. The music's going. They're fired up, and those guys are fun to coach.
We're going to talk to Denzel Boston today, and I know you mentioned him a little bit yesterday, but just these 2 days, what has he shown you?
Well, you can see his catch radius. That's what you can see. He does have quick feet. Getting off the line of scrimmage, you can see that. He's, again, does a really good job getting in and out of breaks for someone with his length. And, again, it's hard because with a couple ACT periods where you're not really throwing it, you know, guys don't really get a ton of opportunities. Like today, really him and KC didn't get a lot of opportunities, which is just fine. But seeing him move around, you can really see his skill set.
When we talked to Taylor after we talked to you yesterday, he said footwork was a big focus of his. Doing it in a hotel room, doing it in individuals. As a coach, what are the couple of spots you say early, this is where he needs to get better?
Well, first thing was, as you talked about footwork, cadence. Getting used to our cadence early on, and he was better today, but this morning and yesterday, choppy with his cadence. So just getting our guys into a rhythm at the line of scrimmage. I think that was the second thing you need to work on. He did a nice job today of working through his progressions. I did like that part of it. We're gonna have to be really diligent in trying to tighten down his release when you're talking about check downs, taken from as long of his release, the long release he has, to really just being able to dart it, to get it quickly out of his hands into the hands of, you know, whether it's a running back or a tight end. But I've been super impressed with his ability to really learn, process, and take it to the field. And then getting through his progressions, really impressive.
Do you recommend a particular, like when these guys go away for their 6-week break, do you have a quarterback sort of guru that you like guys to work with? Or?
We've had guys that, if they've asked, but in today's day and age, it feels like everybody's got one. They've got a quarterback coach they like to go to, which is great. I think the game has improved greatly with whether it's offensive line tutors, as I would say, or wide receiver tutors or quarterback guys. I think just over the last 10 or 15 years, even when I was at Georgia and you'd see younger players come to summer camp and how much better they are at throwing the football and receiver route running. And that's a credit to those that work with guys when we don't have an opportunity to work with them, which stinks. I wish we got them year round, but we don't. And it's awesome that our guys want to go to those guys and improve.
We saw Austin Barber at right tackle for really the duration of rookie minicamp. When you guys pick out into OTAs, all the guys, you plan on keeping them there, or will you kind of move them around?
Well, we'll see how that all works out. I mean, for the purpose of rookie minicamp, we're going to put him at tackle. We think long-term he's a tackle, but we're certainly going to give him an opportunity. He's going to have to be a swing player. He's going to have to be able to learn tackle, and we're going to have to see what we have at guard. And everything will play itself out. Parker at center, right? Elton at center. Is how that's going to play out. And some of the other guys that we have, Kingsley and Kendrick, that are here, along with then, Titus, right? So all that'll play out. It's just, I like where we're at because we've got more pieces to work with. You know, it gives you options, right? It's not advantageous to not have many options. So through the draft and through free agency, I think we've really addressed, right, with the 3 draft picks and 3 free agents, really addressed, a real position of need.
Thank you.
All right, go Cavs.